Hey everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing DC Universe Rebirth Batman Volume 2, I Am Suicide. Now, I Am Suicide picks up exactly where I Am Gotham leaves off, and it's part of the I Am trilogy, for lack of a better term. The next volume is called I Am Bane. And like I said, it leaves exactly where we left off in the last volume, with Gotham Girl being broken and shattered by Psycho Pirate. She's overcome with fear and guilt and pain and anguish for what happened to her brother. But not just that, I mean, Psycho Pirate screwed her up just in general. And the only way to fix her is for Batman to go out and get Psycho Pirate, and to use his mask for therapy or whatnot. However, there's one problem. Psycho Pirate is currently under the control of Bane. And for those of you that don't know who Bane, and there are a few of you out there, Bane is without a doubt one of Batman's most dangerous villains. He's actually one of my favorite villains. Bane is the man that broke Batman's back. He literally was the first person to hand Batman his first real defeat, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and of course physically. Now Bane, for the most part, has kind of been off the radar lately, but he is back in the Rebirth universe, in the Rebirth title, and he is, well, as scary as ever. He's no longer using Venom, and he's not even donning his mask. He's just this big, scary, naked, evil demon that Batman has to go and face in order to get Psycho Pirate back and save this poor girl. However, there is a problem with that. Psycho Pirate is with Bane at his own base, and Batman needs some help, so he goes to Arkham Asylum and he takes out some inmates to help him out. Among these inmates, there's a couple of people that you might know: Catwoman, Bronze Tiger, the ventriloquist, to say the least. But he must work with this motley crew of individuals in order to break into Bane's fortress and get Psycho Pirate. So the question is this: will Batman be able to get Psycho Pirate out and help out Gotham Girl, or will he get his back broken again by Bane? The answer is yes to both of those questions, but we'll get into that later. Let's talk about the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Good. Bane has always been one of my favorite Batman villains, but like I said, for a while now, he's kind of been, I don't know, mediocre. He's like a professional wrestler that was the WWE champion for the longest time, and then he gets dethroned by the likes of, I don't know, The Rock, the greatest wrestler of all time. Batman's The Rock in this situation. So, The Rock takes out Bane, Batman takes out Bane, and he kind of gets thrown to the mid-cards for the longest time. Intercontinental Championship, but now Bane is back and scarier than ever. The fact that they don't have him using Venom, and the fact that they have him completely naked in shadows, makes him look like a demonic individual, and it works very well for the tone of the character. Bane starts to become more intimidating and menacing here. And not to say that Bane was ever not intimidating or menacing, but the fact is, well, other than breaking Batman's back, he hasn't really done much lately. So it's cool to see that the character gets a boost as a villain. The art in this is gorgeous. And like I said, I'm not a big fan of the Rebirth costume, but this comic does a pretty good justice to it. Granted, like I said, they draw it just like the New 52 costume, but hey, I'll take it. But for the most part, the action scenes, the way characters move and how things are done up, and I'll see if I can find a particular page. There's a section where Bronze Tiger and Batman re-meet, and the action scene is really, really good. And speaking of Bronze Tiger, it's nice to see this character in here. And not just that, but to show him as an equal in fighting skill to Batman almost. I always consider the best fighters in the DC universe Batman, Lady Shiva, Bronze Tiger, and Richard Dragon, all within kind of the same realm of each other. So it's kind of cool to see Bronze Tiger back in action, as badass he is. And of course, we get to see quite a bit of Catwoman in this, which is really nice. Which brings me to the other thing that I like about this. At the end of this story, there is a 2-issue conclusion, a separate story arc to say the least, called Rooftops. And this deals with the relationship between Batman and Catwoman. Now, as you guys know, I love romantic situations. I love it when couples get together. And my favorite character, Batman, has had many love interests throughout the years, whether it be Silver St. Cloud, Vicky Vale, Julia, and of course, Catwoman. Even Wonder Woman was Batman's love interest way back in the day, in the early 2000s. But no one has quite touched Batman like Catwoman has. With great stories like Hush, Heart of Hush, and also seeing them interact with each other in The Outsiders, or just in general, the relationship between the two has always been good. And the great thing about Selina Kyle is she gets Batman. Like, I could see Silver St. Cloud working with Batman, but she would be like the stay-at-home wife with Batman, for lack of better terms. Where Catwoman will be out there and doing stuff with Batman. She understands he's a damaged individual. He's traumatized, and he's donned a costume similar to Dracula and goes out and fights villains. She doesn't judge him. She understands him because, in reality, she's kind of the same. I mean, granted, her parents weren't killed by a mugger, and she decides to become this vengeful, justice-seeking vigilante, but I mean, she was an orphan who was abused, and she had to fend for herself, and she becomes this kleptomaniac. Like, Catwoman is just as damaged as Batman. They work together really well. So it was sad when the New 52 kind of retconned their history and made it that she didn't know who Bruce Wayne was. But the final 2 issues of this particular story that does a separate story arc, the rooftop one, does a really good job at reintroducing, well, everything for Catwoman and Batman. To their previous relationships, to how they interpret each other's origin. I mean, like, serious stuff. I'm talking about Golden Age shit from Batman issue number 1. I'm not talking like issue number 1, New 52, issue number 1, Rebirth. I'm talking like, whoa, Bob Kane, Bill Finger, issue number 1. So it's kind of cool to see that relationship reignited, and one of my favorite romances in comic books brought back. It leaves a lot of doors open. It doesn't give a solidified, like, hey, let's be boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. It just leaves a lot of doors open. And that's something I always ask, especially with the most recent issue that came out with Batman issue number 22, which is the Button story arc where Batman's father tells him, hey, don't be Batman. I mean, I doubt Batman's not going to be Batman, but maybe he becomes a little bit more of a lighter Batman, one that can hold a stable relationship. But that was a really, really solid issue, or issues, and probably one of the best things about this story. Bad. Not really. Like I said in my I Am Gotham review, it's just a start to Tom King's run. He's more of a long-distance runner than a sprinter. Like, everything that he built up in the first issue, or the first story arc, really gets exemplified here. And this is actually one of my favorite things to come out of Rebirth, this particular story. It really elevates the level of writing and artistic value to Batman, and it really puts Tom King in a category that he's no longer going to live in the shadow of Scott Snyder. Because, let's be honest, Scott Snyder's New 52 run of Batman was epic. Like, there is no which way around that. Whether you like it or you don't, it was epic. And I personally enjoyed it. I mean, look, it's New 52. But the fact of the matter remains is that's a pretty big shadow to get out of. And this is Tom King getting out of that shadow. There's a lot of stuff that happens here with Batman, with Bane, with Catwoman, with a lot of other characters, and if you're a fan of any of them, or if you just want a darn tooting good story, pick this up. I do, however, recommend that you read I Am Gotham first. Maybe that might be bad, the fact that you can't read this as a standalone story, but, I mean, you technically could, but, I mean, it's only better by the fact that you read I Am Gotham and get that stuff. But, with that said, I will end this video review here. Batman I Am Suicide. If you get a chance to pick it up, get it. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.